So what we are going to do now is a strengthening sequence. It's also very good to improve your balance. If you have a belt at home and some blocks, you might want to have them beside your mat. They might be handy. This sequence is quite challenging at times, so it's perfectly all right to take a break, sit down, and focus on your breath. And when you're ready to join us again, just do so. So we're starting in a cross-legged position. So making sure that your knees are at the same level as your hips or a little bit lower. And if you wish, you can just sit on a blanket or a cushion if it's more comfortable for you. Rolling your shoulders away from the ears, sitting nice and tall, closing your eyes. Just taking a moment to center. Gently breathing in and out through the nose. And we'll start with a gentle warm-up. Inhaling as you exhale, just draw your chin towards your chest. Just do that 3 times. On the next exhale, draw your left ear towards the left shoulder. And if you want, you can extend the right arm and find a nice spot where you feel an extension, where you feel a gentle stretch along the side of the body. Changing side. Right ear to right shoulder, extending the left arm. And coming back to center. Next, we're going to place the right hand on the floor beside the hip. Inhaling, lifting the left arm, turning the palm up and leaning over to the side. Coming back to center, changing side, bringing the left hand on the floor, lifting the right arm, turning the palm up and then leaning to the left. Back to center, hands on the knees. Inhale, roll your shoulders away from the ears. Look up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, round your back. Press against the knees as you round the back. This is cat and cow pose, so we'll do that a few times. Inhaling, looking up. Exhaling, rounding. Coming back to center. And next we're going to move the spine in circular movement. So trying to keep the shoulders over the hips, just rotating the spine. In yoga, we say that you are as young as the spine is flexible. So we always move the spine in all directions, so clockwise and anti-clockwise. When you come back to center, we're going to extend the legs in front of us. And first, bring the feet a bit wider than hip width apart and bring the toes together and circling. In one direction and then in the other direction. So next we're going to draw the soles of the feet together, closer to the groins. So it's fine if your feet are wider away or closer to the groins. And take hold of the feet and gently move the knees up and down in the butterfly position to warm up the hips. So next we're moving into the screaming toe, so drawing your knees together and come to sitting. If you have blocks, you might want to use them now. So for the screaming toe pose, you come on your knees and tuck your toes under and sit back on your heels. And this is quite a challenging pose. So what you can do is bring the blocks under your hips and you actually sit on the block. So you don't put too much weight on your heels. And then when you feel stronger, when your toes are more flexible, you can slowly remove the blocks. But we're going to stay in the pose for a little while, not too long. So at the beginning, you might just stay for 10 seconds and slowly build up. And then you lift your hips and sit back on the feet, on the flat feet. Bring your hands behind your hips and lift your knees. So you are also stretching the front of the feet. Coming back to a cross-legged sitting position. So next, I'd like you to bring your fingers between the toes. So there's not a lot of space, but it is possible. And then squeeze the fingers together and spread them apart. So it's not the nicest sensations, but do that a few times, spreading the fingers, squeezing them. And then bring some movement into your toes, the ball of the foot. And then you can release and change side. So bring your fingers between the toes, squeezing the toes and opening. This is very helpful when you have some unusual sensations in the legs. Moving the toes. And then releasing. So you should have nice sensations in your feet, some warmth, and in the legs. Next, we're going to lie down on the back with the legs extended and the arms along the body. The feet are together, And I would like you to imagine that you are lifting your legs, but you are not actually doing it. So as you pretend you are lifting your legs, you should feel the muscles on the lower abdomen engage. These are the transversal muscles. And we call that the drawstring action. Next, I'd like you to imagine that you are putting on a very tight pair of jeans and you are trying to close the zip. So you draw your navel towards the spine, and we call that the zip up. So when you are doing core work, it's very important to do these two actions, the drawstring and the zip up, because it helps you to protect your lower back. So I'd like you to bring your feet closer to your hips. Legs are bent. Feet, knees are hip width apart. Inhale, and as you exhale, do the drawstring and the zip up action, engaging your core muscle, and slowly lift the tailbone off the mat, lifting one vertebra after the other, until you can create a straight line between your knees, your hips, and your shoulders. Coming back on an inhale, lowering very slowly until your back is flat on the mat. And we'll repeat that a few times. Inhaling, exhaling, drawing the navel towards the spine, engaging the transversal muscles, and lifting slowly off the mat. Pressing as well the feet on the floor and slowly coming back down. Once more. On the next exhale, drawing the navel towards the spine, engaging the lower abdomens and lifting. Slowly coming down. On the next exhale, I'd like you to bring your right knee towards the chest. Take hold of the knee with your hands. Extend the left leg. Keep it a few inches off the mat. Inhale as you exhale. Lift your shoulders. Lift your head as if you wanted to come and kiss your knee. Staying there for a few breaths. And slowly coming down. First the head and then the legs. And we're changing side. Inhale, and as you exhale, draw the left knee towards the chest. Use your hands to draw the knee closer toward the chest. Extend the right leg and lift the head and the shoulder towards the knee. And lowering down. We'll repeat that one more time on each side. Exhaling, right knee towards the chest, lengthening the left leg, lifting the head and the shoulders. And changing side. Exhaling, left knee towards the chest, right leg extending, and then lowering down. We'll come to a sitting position. So first, we want to turn to the side and using the left hand to come to sitting. And we're going to move to all four position. So making sure that the fingers are spread out, the hands are directly under the shoulders, the knees are directly under the hips, and they are hip width apart. And we'll start with some cat and cow movement. So inhaling, curving the spine, looking up, and exhaling, rounding the back, looking at the navel. Inhaling, looking up, exhaling, rounding. Last time. Next, we're going to extend the right leg back and the left arm forward, creating a nice line between the fingertips and the toes. As we exhale, we draw the knee and the elbow together under the body. Inhaling, lengthening. Exhaling, elbow to knee. Last time. And coming back to the starting position. Changing side. Inhaling, extending the left leg back and the right arm forward. On the next exhale, drawing the elbow to the knee. Inhaling, lengthening. Exhaling, elbow to knee. Last time. And if you need, you can take a moment into the child's pose. Bring your hips to your heels and taking just a moment to rest. When you're ready, you can come up on all four. For the next strengthening move, so we're going to extend the right leg and tuck the toes under. And the key in this is not to lift the hips, but just to lift the left knee off the mat. So it's quite a powerful pose. So you might just want to do that for a few seconds at the start and then releasing. And changing side. Extending the left leg, tucking the toes under without lifting the hips, just lift the right knee off the mat. And releasing, sitting back in child's pose. And we'll do that one more time. And you can slowly build up until you can stay in the pose for longer. So we're extending the right leg, tucking the toes under, looking in front of you. Make sure that you are stable And then when you're ready, lift the left knee off the mat. And slowly release. Changing side. Tucking the left foot on the mat. And when you're ready, lifting the right knee. And releasing. Again, if you wish, you can sit back on your heel in the child's pose. Slowly come up. And we're going to sit on the floor with the legs extended in front of us. Make sure that your legs are engaged with the toes pointing towards the ceiling, and place your hands beside your hips. So make sure they are not back, they need to be beside the hips. And we're going to lift the hips and come to a tabletop position. So shifting the weight up until there is a straight line between your knees, your hips, and your shoulders. And then when you come down, bring the hips back where they were at the beginning, between the hands. So it's a nice strengthening movement for the upper body, for the arms, but also for the core. So we're going to do that 5 times. Pressing on the hands, pressing on the heels, lifting the hips. You can look in front or look up, whichever is more comfortable. And lowering back on the floor. Inhale, exhale, lift. And come down. That's 3. Inhaling, coming up. And down. Last one. And down. Take a moment if you need to. And when you're ready, we're going to move on all 4. Make sure again that your hands are directly under the shoulders and your knees are directly under the hips. They are hip width apart. Tuck your toes under and shift your hips towards your heels. And then when you're ready, press on your hands, press on your toes and come up with your hips towards the ceiling. And move your heels one after the other to release the back of your legs. So we are in downward facing dog position. Then trying to bring both heels towards the floor. Take a few breaths in the downward facing dog position. It's okay if your legs are bent. It's completely fine. And when you're ready, you can start walking your feet towards your hands. Keeping your legs bent. And keep your legs bent as you come up with the upper body, extending the arms towards the ceiling. So we are now in Utkatasana, the chair pose. So the tailbone is going down towards the floor, but the upper body is reaching up towards the ceiling. On the next exhalation, draw your hands together in front of the heart center. Inhale, and as you exhale, twist over to the right. Bring the left elbow on the outside of the right knee. It's quite a powerful pose. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, twist to the left. Right elbow on the outside of the left knee. Inhaling back to center and slowly come up to standing. And we are going to move the feet so that they are wider than hip width apart. And slowly lowering the hips down into a squatting position. So if the heels don't reach the floor, you can place a blanket or some support under your heels. You can use your elbows to open the hips a little bit further apart. And come sitting on the floor. So now we're going to sit with the legs extended in front of us. And keeping the left leg extended, we're going to bend the right leg and place the foot a few inches away from the knee, using the right knee to lift and extend the top of the body. Inhale, and as you exhale, twist to the right, holding the knee and placing the right hand behind you. The left leg is active, the toes are pointing to the ceiling. As we inhale, we lengthen the spine, and as we exhale, we twist a little bit further. Coming back to center, we're changing side, extending the right leg and bending the left one. Holding the left knee to lengthen the spine and exhaling, twisting over to the left. So left hand is behind the back and right arm is around the left knee. Inhaling up, exhaling, twisting. On the next inhale, release and come back to center. Extend both legs in front of you. And if you have a belt, you might want to take hold of it. And we're going to do the forward bend. So place the belt around the balls of the feet and take hold of the belt like this. You might want to keep your legs slightly bent, especially if you have any issue with the lower back. Inhale and lengthen the spine, and as you exhale, fold forward. So the key is to keep the back as elongated as possible and to draw the abdomen towards the thighs. So the aim is not to round the back and place your head on the knees, but rather to lengthen. And if you don't need the belt, you can just keep the hands on the mat or around the feet. Inhaling, lengthening, exhaling, Just going a little bit deeper into the pose if you wish to. Slowly releasing. And it's now time for Shavasana, the relaxation pose. So coming on the mat, extending the legs, keep the feet about hip width apart, let them fall out to the side. The arms are along the body with the palms facing up. Let the fingers gently move, curling up. Take a deep inhale and exhale through the mouth. We'll do that 3 times. And you can let your body sink into the mat, into the ground, letting go of any tension. Staying in the pose for as long as you can, but at least for a couple of minutes. And when you're ready to come out of the pose, you can start moving your fingers and your toes. And bend your legs, bring your knees to your chest. And maybe circle the knees one way, the other, just to massage the lower back. And when you're ready, you can let the knees fall to the side. Using your hand to press against the floor to come up on the sitting position. Coming back to cross-legged.